Hey everybody out there in YouTube land. Back for one more on Father's Day. It's now the early evening and I'm enjoying a cigar this time. I got this Tatuaje cigarrights.org. It's a themed cigar from Tatuaje that I got. I believe I got these for my birthday from my stepson, my wife's son. He gave me a set of 4 of them, and I'm smoking the first one tonight. It's really good. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. But I was just watching a video. Ethan Parsimonious Piper and his son. I'm sorry, I don't know his son's name yet. I've probably heard it a few times, but I couldn't tell you what it is. He's a bearded piper. I believe that might be his channel name, the Bearded Piper. Anyway, they were doing a Father's Day video together today, and I just literally was watching it right now, and he was asking his dad, Ethan, about some stories about when him and his sister were young. You know, what's the best thing, what's the worst thing about being a father. And it just reminded me of a couple of stories I could tell real quick about my first 2 kids from my first marriage. Cecil and Mia are their names, and both of these stories have to do with watching TV at a young age. And you know, if I had fathering to do over again, I probably would do it a little different, but that's how life goes, right? You don't know. You don't know the lessons until you learn them. You know, I think that's probably what's going to make grandparenting a little different. But then again, during grandparenting, you don't get to make the decisions anyway. So such is life, you know. Anyway, so my son, when he was, now he is going on 21. He'll be 21 on Tuesday, in 2 days from now. But when he was young, probably around 4, maybe, I was watching TV with him, and it was some sci-fi show. I don't even know what it was. And there was this scene where they had this table. It was some crazy bit of technology where you would put your arm like in the it was kind of a deep table, and you would put your arm in the center of this table, and you would imagine, I guess it was an imagination thing, you would imagine something happening to your arm. And there were these people who forced this guy's arm onto this table, and it like started to break apart, maybe, and there was like, it might have been burning like acid, or there might have been maggots. I don't quite remember exactly what was happening, but like the guy was yelling, help. And his arm was, you know, deteriorating in a gruesome fashion. And my son, he really got upset. And he's like, Dad, we got to help this guy. And he was dead serious. First of all, that he thought it was real. Second of all, it broke my heart that kids are so innocent. He thought that somehow we could help this guy. Like maybe he was, you know, somewhere where we could reach him, or somewhere where we could get in contact with the situation that was going on. And of course I quickly, like, I paused the TV show, or I might have turned it off, and I explained to my son, look, maybe I never told you this, but you know, when we watch TV, it's all make believe. It's not real. they're acting, you know, and it's supposed to be just for entertainment, but it's not real what we're watching. And he understood and he calmed down. But man, what a moment. That's the thing about kids that's always got to me, especially my own kids, is when they're so young and innocent, it literally breaks my heart that we go from that state to, you know, growing up and coming to grips with reality. You know, it is what it is, but that's the part that was always heart-wrenching for me. And my daughter, Mia, when she was around the same age, maybe 4, she's a year and a half behind him. So me and her were watching Cinderella this one time. I think it's the first time she ever saw it. And so we're watching Cinderella, and we get to the part where the evil, dumb, ugly stepsisters, you know, they all plan to go to the ball, and you know, Cinderella was going to go to the ball with them because she had finished all the crazy amount of chores that her stepmother had told her she had to accomplish before she was able to go with them. But she accomplished it because she you know, she didn't see herself as any different than them, and she figured she was going to the ball. And then, you know, she had all her little mice and bird friends make her beautiful dress out of just stuff that she had upstairs in the tower. And she came down, and her stepsisters were so jealous of how pretty her dress was. Or, you know, maybe they just thought it was silly. I don't know. Oh, I think she had made the dress out of parts of scraps that they had discarded. That's what it was. And that evil stepmother kind of gave them the go-ahead to, you know, take back their things that she had made her dress out of. So they start tearing at her pearls and her sash, and they tore it all off, and they left her, you know, with the torn rags that she had put together. And of course, Cinderella's brokenhearted, and the whole scene of that movie is really heartbreaking for Cinderella. And my little daughter, when she saw that part, tears welling up in her eyes, and she got up and ran out of the house to the backyard, like crying. And I went out after her, and she looked at me and she told me, like, that was terrible. Why did you have me watch this movie? Like, she was she was upset at me for having her watch this movie, and she could not understand the feelings she was having, and why on earth I would do this to her, why I would subject her to such a thing. I told her basically the same thing, like, look, it's just make believe, it's just a cartoon, really, because that's what Cinderella is. And I promised her that the story got better, and that really was a terrible part of the movie, and she was right to be upset, and that it would get better in the end. And she did finish it, but for her, I don't think the end of the movie made up for that moment that we had. She was always very sensitive, and that broke my heart even more than that thing with my son. Anyway, I just wanted to share those two quick stories about being a dad. Being a dad is one of the hardest, is the hardest thing I've ever done. There's no doubt about it. It's hard in so many ways, but also absolutely the most rewarding, because now, they are almost 21 and 19 of age. They're both making their way in life. They both have a long way to go, but you know, it's wonderful to see them grown up and being their own people. And I just love it so much. So, you know, I just wanted to share that with you. Those are two things that I always think about when I think about being a dad, when I get a chance to ponder, you know, what it all means. And so I hope you've had a great Father's Day. If you haven't called your dad yet, you're running out of time. You really should, because he loves you. And there's nothing better in the world than hearing from your kids and them taking the initiative to let you know that they love you. And so go ahead and do that. Seek God's blessing, seek who God is, and in that you will be blessed. And I'll leave you with that. Have a good evening, everybody. Bye-bye.